So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a number of people step up and give reports on what's going on, but also give advice if it's meaningful. We're going to start with the director of our Homeland Security and Emergency Management Department, and that is Ken Snipes. We'll follow that with a report from Austin Energy from the interim general manager, Stuart Riley. Then Austin Travis County Health Authority and Austin Public Health, Dr. Desmore Walks will give a report. And then we'll hear from Emergency Medical Services, and that'll be Assistant Chief Wesley Hopkins. Then we'll open it up for some questions if any of you have questions. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Director Ken Snipes.
Thank you, Mayor Watson. As the Mayor said, I'm Director Ken Snipes, Homeland Security and Emergency Management. We know the heat will bring extreme temperatures to Central Texas. Last week, Austin registered the highest heat index on record. We expect heat and humidity to continue into the triple digits throughout this week. Austinites and visitors should expect 100-degree days for the foreseeable. And we at HESM have been planning for months in advance for the weather, collaborating with the county and other city departments, and also our community partners to prepare and provide our community with the necessary information to ensure that they are prepared for the heat. We encourage Austinites to stay hydrated, stay cool, and stay safe during these conditions. You can visit our ReadyCentralTexas.org website for tips on how to protect yourself and your family, and also for tips on how to recognize heat illness. Knowing how to respond to heat illness can save lives. Our vulnerable populations are at risk during these extreme temperatures. Yesterday, we visited 8 homeless encampments and distributed over 720 bottles of water. We did that with the city's Homeless Services Department and also the Homeland Security's Disaster Relief Team and Logistics Team. Austin's Homeless Services Division helped us identify the sites to meet with the people there and get water to both them and also their pets. I will tell you, I was surprised yesterday to see just how many people needed water for their pets yesterday. I also want to remind people that our cooling centers are still open, including Austin's recreation centers and libraries. They will be open until 8 p.m. each evening. This weekend, 8 parks facilities were available as cooling centers in all libraries. These cooling centers serve as a reprieve from the heat, allowing people and their service animals to cool off during the hottest times of the year. Again, if you need more information, you can visit austintexas.gov/alerts for the most up-to-date information on our cooling centers. And that information is also available on the website in 13 different languages. And with that, I'll turn it over to Stuart Riley.
Good morning. I'm Stuart Riley, Interim General Manager of Austin Energy. You've heard about the heat advisories and excessive heat warnings that are predicted for this week, and Austin Energy is ready. With extreme heat comes extreme and high electric usage. This can put strain on our system and our equipment locally, and it can also burden the state's ERCOT electric grid. Austin Energy is monitoring its system, and we have personnel on standby and ready to react in case of any emergencies or any outage situations. In addition, we're in constant contact with ERCOT to learn about ERCOT grid conditions, and we are ready to implement emergency procedures if necessary, and we are ready to follow any ERCOT instructions that may come. Austin Energy's website has a current conditions page that has tips on conservation, how to stay cool during this heat, how to create an emergency plan, and it also has information about the Austin local system and conditions, as well as the overall ERCOT grid conditions. You can visit that at austinenergy.com/go/alerts. And as of right now, ERCOT has issued a weather watch, and that will run through Friday. That weather watch is due to the extreme heat and extreme peak demand forecast for this week. While ERCOT is expecting new all-time peak demand records for this week, they are also forecasting that they will be in normal operating conditions. This means that there will be enough supply to meet customer demand within ERCOT. But if that situation changes, ERCOT would then move up into a different pre-emergency state, which would be the ERCOT conservation notice. That would be a voluntary call for conservation to customers across Texas to conserve energy, and we ask that any customer please participate in that call for conservation when that call comes. Beyond that, while it's not anticipated, if ERCOT does need to move into any other operating conditions, it would move into the energy emergency alerts. Those are energy emergency alert, or EEA, levels 1, 2, and 3, and it's not until level 3 in which ERCOT would mandate controlled outages of electric utilities across ERCOT. If that does occur, again, we're not anticipating that, but if that does occur, those outages would be brief in duration, limited to the late afternoon hours when electric usage is highest and temperatures are highest, and Austin Energy would rotate those outages for the outages to be as brief as possible based on what ERCOT calls upon. Of course, a forecast is just a forecast, so we ask that everybody please be ready for any type of emergency that may come, any kind of heat-related emergency. Create a plan. Also, please download the ERCOT app and enable push notifications, and you can learn in real time about any ERCOT calls for conservation or emergency conditions. Also, please sign up for Austin Energy outage alerts and make sure Austin Energy has your phone number and email address in case we need to get any communications out. While we're in this ERCOT weather watch, Austin Energy has enhanced its communications. We're putting out communications every morning and every afternoon just to let the public know about grid conditions on a regular basis and make sure everybody's ready for what the day has in store for us. And lastly, you've heard it many times, but please do what you can to conserve energy. Conservation helps the grid. It also helps keep bills low, and we want to make sure that we maintain affordable for our customers. And so please do what you can to safely limit your use of electricity, particularly during those peak afternoon hours when it's hottest. And Austin Energy is here for our community. We'll continue to be here for our community during these hot conditions, and we continue to serve the public to get through this heat. And I will turn it over to...
Before you do that,
Yes.
and I hate to interrupt, but can you reiterate what we're anticipating? This is Monday. What is it we anticipate with ERCOT and temperatures this week?
Absolutely.
Just reiterate that.
Yeah, you know, with these temperatures, as I mentioned, with the extreme temperatures, we're going to see people who are using their air conditioner to an extreme level to keep cool. And what that means is across the state and across ERCOT's anticipating to see peak records getting set every day this week, potentially. Last year, the overall ERCOT all-time peak demand record was July 20th, and that record was a little over 80,000 megawatts. Right now, the 6-day supply and demand forecast that ERCOT has is looking that it would anticipate that it's going to break that all-time peak demand record every day this week by a significant margin. However, they are also forecasting that there's going to be enough supply to meet that extreme level of demand.
Great, thank you. Now we'll hear from Dr. Desmar Walks.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Desmar Walks. I'm the Austin Travis County Health Authority, APH Medical Director, here to ask our community to protect themselves and prevent heat illness. We've been experiencing extreme heat these past few weeks, and it's anticipated that it will go on for many weeks to come. As you've heard, we're asking people to be prepared for an emergency, but I'm asking you to be prepared each day and plan your day to go outside and do your outdoor activities during the times of day when it's coolest to avoid becoming overheated. We've had several emergency rooms and urgent care visits an increase over the past few weeks due to this heat, and we anticipate that that will continue. But you can protect yourself by planning your day, by wearing light-colored, loose-fitting clothing, by drinking lots of water, taking breaks every 20 minutes or so if you happen to be outside to sip water, engaging in those activities that are outdoor activities with a buddy so they can remind you to take those breaks to cool off and to drink water as needed. Make sure that you check on loved ones. We know that the most vulnerable in our population are those who are older, those who are younger, pregnant women, and people that have lung and heart disease. We ask that you would continue to be vigilant during this time and take those precautions to prevent becoming ill and I'll pass it over to our EMS chief.
Chief.
Good morning. My name is Wes Hopkins. I'm an assistant chief for Austin Travis County EMS. For the past few weeks, we've been taking multiple proactive measures to prepare for this heat. Both our community health paramedics and our collaborative care communication center, or CFOR, have been working diligently to anticipate needs in the community. Our CHP team has been checking on encampments for people experiencing homelessness, particularly those that are in isolated encampments. Much like our partners from HESM, we've been handing out cases of water to people and pets alike. And we've been making sure the information is pushed out for cooling centers and how to navigate getting those individuals there. Our C4 team this last week, our Collaborative Care Communication Center, have ensured we've had appropriate staffing, and what we're doing is to shielding low acuity calls and looking for better navigation services to those patients that don't involve an ambulance response. We've also been monitoring different power outages and cooling center statuses. Just this last week, we had a patient that we transported to the hospital, but we discovered their air conditioner was out, and we've been working to get that resolved in anticipation from them being discharged. We're also partnering with Family Elder Care to ensure that clients that need fans have fans available to them. Our Field Operations Division anticipated and prepared for an increase in heat-related incidents, and we have absolutely seen that occur. In the last 2 weeks, we've seen a dramatic increase in call volume for heat-related emergencies. Since April 1st, we've responded to 215 incidents that were triaged as heat-related. 142 of those incidents were in June, and a staggering 118 occurred in the last 2 weeks. Last week, our medics responded to a 911 call for a patient that was working outdoors that experienced heat-related symptoms. This patient recognized their condition and called 911, but very rapidly prior to our arrival, that patient went unconscious. This incident is a great example of why it's so important to know the signs and symptoms of heat-related illnesses, and I'm going to get into that here in a second. Mild heat issues escalate to life-threatening heat stroke if left untreated in mere minutes. Luckily, this patient knew what was happening. They called for help. Our medics treated them very quickly with aggressive cooling measures, including cold IV fluids and ice bath, and by the time they arrived at the hospital, the patient was alert and oriented and will thankfully not suffer any permanent damage. Heat cramps and heat exhaustion are your body's way of telling you that something is wrong, so please, if you're out and about, please do not ignore those symptoms. Let's talk about some signs and symptoms of heat exhaustion. Profuse sweating, dizziness, weakness, pale and clammy skin, fast and weak pulse, and nausea, vomiting. If you experience these symptoms, you want to get into a cooler environment as quickly as you can. You want to lie down and loosen your clothing. If you've got someone around that can apply cool, wet cloths or complex to cool the body, and have them sip water. Let's talk about heat stroke real quick. Heat stroke is a time-sensitive medical emergency. It may lead to permanent brain damage or death if left untreated. When your skin is hot, red, and dry, confusion, lethargy, or unconsciousness with a rapid, strong pulse and an elevated temperature of 103 degrees is into heat stroke. If you know someone that's experiencing heat stroke, you need to move that person to a cool environment, reduce their body temperature as quickly as you can, and do not give them fluids by mouth. We want you to keep an eye, and we've talked about this before, but it's very important to mention it again. Keep an eye on children, pets, and elderly for signs and symptoms of heat exhaustion and heat stroke. The very young and very old, as well as people with chronic health conditions, are more susceptible to heat-related illnesses because their bodies just can't regulate the heat. Please check on your neighbors, especially if they're at risk. Anytime the temperature is above 72 degrees, the heat inside a car can heat up rapidly in the sun. Sadly, there's already been a pediatric death in Texas as a result of a child being left in a hot car. Heat stroke is still the leading cause of non-collision vehicular-related deaths for children, and these are calls we never want to run. Never leave a living being alone in a vehicle. Look before you lock. Place your bag or cell phone in the back seat to remind you to check before you're leaving the vehicle. Austin Travis County EMS is ready to respond to heat-related emergencies, but you can help us by making sure you're prepared when you venture out into the heat. Pre-hydrate before you go outside. Continuing to hydrate while you're outside, we recommend at least 16 ounces of water every hour when outdoors, and even more if you're doing any sort of strenuous activity. Dress for the heat. Hat, sunscreen, take frequent breaks. And if you're limiting your outdoor activities, we ask that you do that in the early mornings or the late evenings. Our medics are out running 911 calls in a very harsh environment. I was out with them on Friday, and these measures that you can do will help have our medics take care of you, but also with an increased demand in 911 calls, we don't want to exacerbate the 911 system unnecessarily. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I want to reiterate that last point. We've got a lot of public employees that are out. And I said this at the first press conference we had about this. We have a lot of public employees that are out serving us. They're serving us by being outdoors in dangerous conditions. So I want to ask people, if you see folks that are doing this, they're serving us, they're doing it in what are now dangerous conditions if they're out there during the course of the whole day. Many times it's dangerous anyway, but then this adds and exacerbates it. Thank them, pay attention to them, because they're true public servants. And with that, if you all have questions, we'll take a few questions.
I was wondering if you could put the numbers in perspective. I know you said the numbers are up, and you gave some interesting numbers, but how would that compare to maybe June before we were into a situation like we have now?
Yes, ma'am. It's absolutely weather dependent. As we see the temperature rise, we do see the heat-related incidents go up. We can actually pull the numbers from last year, but we would want to tie that back to a temperature. But with this increase in temperature, we have seen that uptick of heat-related calls in the last 2 weeks alone, and these numbers were pulled as of last night. So I would assume those numbers have gone up just because we've had more calls overnight with the temperature not dropping as much as we would like.
Any kind of perspective on how much, just in general?
We know that it's an uptick, and we know that the severity of the calls when the temperature goes up, we've seen patients that were sicker than we normally see when the weather is cooler. And so kind of having those, taking stock in your fitness and your health and being smart about what you do outside is going to be paramount. The 911 system is very busy right now, and we want folks to not exacerbate that 911 system. We want to keep our medics healthy, we want to keep our fleet healthy, and we're working to do that. But we want folks to be smart about what they're doing, pre-hydrate, and just not push a poor line if you're out and about.
And I don't know if you're the best person to answer this, or Kim, if you are, one of the two of you, what are you seeing out in the homeless encampments? I mean, what is the difference in maybe how people are surviving this heat?
You were out and about with me on Friday, I believe, so.
Great question. What we're seeing in the camps right now, due to the extreme heat, as I mentioned, is that people are in need of water, and especially for their pets as well. The people that we met with yesterday were very gracious for us being able to provide them with water. And I also want to add to the point of water distribution that starting tomorrow, there will be a list of outreach teams that will also be delivering water to encampment sites. Those will include the host team, which is the Homeless Outreach and Street Service team, DD, the Downtown Austin Community Court, PATH, the Integral Care Team, Sunrise Homeless Navigation Center, the Urban Alchemy, Austin Area Urban League, We Can Now, and Hungry Hills. So I think in partnership with these organizations, we will be able to get water into the communities, into those encampments where they are needed, and continue to support the people that are in those camps.
As an aside on that, maybe not an aside, but as a highlight to that, one of the things that you've seen is that the city is making a big effort to increase the number of emergency shelters. And we're behind. If we inherited a system that, in my view, focused less on emergency shelters and more on permanent supportive housing, which we need. I want to be very clear, we need more permanent supportive housing. But this is a great example of why it is that we need more emergency shelters at the same time, because the conditions of living on the street, they can be very extreme, they can be life-threatening. And so I just want to highlight what's being said, because we are efforts. You've seen recently with the Salvation Army downtown closing, us entering into a contract, lease with the Salvation Army so that we can keep those emergency shelter beds in place. You've heard the announcement of the RFP that has gone out to deal with, to help us manage what we're calling the marshaling center. So there will be more as we go along. Any other questions?
I could clarify
Sure.
a little bit more Debbie's question. Hi, Janet Pichette. I'm the Chief Epidemiologist with Austin Public Health. And just to answer your question about the numbers, not only is EMS tracking what's happening in their responses to 911 calls, but the Austin Public Health epidemiology staff is also tracking what's happening in area emergency departments. What we're seeing is, again, as Wes mentioned, an increase in the number of emergency department visits that are occurring. So it kind of captures not only what EMS may bring in, but people who self-report into the emergency department. The 20th, they saw 21 emergency department visits. We produce a weekly situation report that provides additional details on what the numbers are. We often compare it with what occurred in previous years as well. And based on different, like in 2011, we had a pretty high heat wave, and we're seeing how that compares on a yearly basis. And traditionally, what we have seen in the past is that usually that first heat wave is what really gets people, right? We're experiencing the worst of it right now. And then as the summer progresses and there are subsequent heat waves, we see that number start to flatten out a bit. And that's because I think people get the message and they get in and they get out of harm's way. I will say that of the people who are being impacted in some of the emergency department data, it's mainly, I'm going to say almost 50% are between the age of 20 and 39 years of age. And it's most likely because, and it's mostly males, but it's most likely affecting those workers that might be out there, or folks who are continuing to exercise or go out to the lake and whatnot and be impacted. So it's that what the emergency departments are seeing are those younger males coming in, and I would venture to guess that it's mainly those occupationally related workers that are working in pretty harsh environments. So again, as everyone said, you just need to kind of think smart and keep yourself safe when you're out there in those conditions. But we can also share those situation reports for anyone who might need them.
That's great. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Questions real fast. First one, have we seen any heat-related deaths so far, or not yet? Or
So as of now, we have not seen any heat-related deaths. We are working with the Travis County Medical Examiner's Office. One of the challenges with death reporting is that they may come upon somebody who has died, and it takes some time to determine what the cause of death is. So they'll, the medical examiner's office will run toxicology. They'll run a whole number of things as they try to look for what that cause of death is. So that could take weeks, and it may ultimately become a heat-related death. But oftentimes, with many of our data that we have, whether it's hospital data or you got to kind of capture the whole consequence of what's happening with that person. And so what will happen is they'll look at that all the information related to that and determine whether or not. Sometimes it's very obvious when somebody has hyperthermia that it is a heat-related illness. But sometimes if they come upon someone who's unconscious and there could be maybe other reasons for that cause of death, it may take some time for them to report that out.
and how is the city of Austin supporting their first responders that are out here in the heat? I know that the Austin Fire Department has a few trucks that don't have any air conditioning. I know they're not here to explain that. But how's the city helping out the first responders directly?
Go ahead.
So for an EMS perspective, excuse me, we are watching our ambulances and their call volume. We're watching what they call their unit utilization hours and just how often they're out and about. And we will schedule breaks, but it's a balancing act to ensure that we've got coverage within the 911 system. We're making sure that any training we do is in the early morning or late evenings.
Have you had any first responders need emergency care?
We have not. We've not had any first responders from the Austin Travis County EMS side that have needed emergency care related to heat, but we are monitoring the system in real time with our shift chief and kind of watching how many calls they're running, how long they're out of the station, are they getting breaks, are they getting food, do they have ice and water and things like that. Helpful enough when we do take someone to the hospitals have a place that the EMS crews can hang out and get hydrated, and that's been very helpful to our medics working very long and hard hot shifts.
And as the manager reported at the last effort to inform the public, when made aware of some of those, when made aware of those instances with the fire trucks, action is being taken to make sure that those air conditioners are repaired or replaced. One more question, anybody? In that case, let me say this. We're going to continue to report to the public. We're going to continue to be a resource for the public. But the message is, don't think you can just push through the heat. Pay attention to your bodies, be aware, and be very careful. This is a time for us all to be careful. If you want additional information, you've been given websites, but go to the Austin website, go to the Austin Energy website, and you can get additional information. But the bottom line is we're in a difficult period of time because of this heat, and it's incumbent on all of us to take care of each other and to take care of ourselves. So thank you all for being here, and we'll let you know the next time we're going to get together. Thanks. Thank you all.
Will Dupree back in the KXAN live studio, as we just heard there from Mayor Kirk Watson, as well as a number of other city leaders, including Austin Travis County EMS, the Emergency Management Department, as well as Austin Energy. They are again sharing warnings about the dangerous conditions we are expected to see this week in terms of the heat. It's supposed to be 100-degree days pretty much every day this week. And as we look out there live right now from Mopac and Far West Boulevard, very sunny conditions, so it's going to be incredibly hot today. And what they're sharing is that they want people to know about some of the cooling centers of the city's operating. So if you need a place to go and cool off, if perhaps your air conditioning is not working at home, all of the Austin recreation centers and public libraries are available as cooling centers. They are staying open until 8 p.m. Additionally, there is an effort to provide water to people who are unhoused here in our community. We heard a few moments ago that just yesterday, the Emergency Management Department and a number of others went out to some homeless encampments throughout our area, 8 in fact, and distributed 127 bottles of water to people as well as pets who needed that particularly. And they're going to continue that effort now. We also heard that they've shared some information about signs to watch out for if you are suffering from heat exhaustion or heat stroke, trying to advise people about that so they know what to avoid and how to stay safe from that. As we continue to track these conditions, you can go to our website at kxan.com and view the full forecast details. Our First Warning weather team is putting out all that information there, tracking what the temperatures are supposed to be for this week. And again, it is supposed to be hot, so please stay with us as we continue sharing that information, and we hope to see you back here soon. For now, I'm Will Dupree in the KXAN live studio. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody. Stay safe and cool this week. We'll see you back here soon. Take care.